Hey everybody, Lieutenant Shannon Selichek here, creator and founder of Insightfulfirefighter.com, where I help awesome people get into the fire service, realize their dream job of becoming a firefighter faster, and help firefighters get promoted sooner. And today, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the testing process, the entry testing process to be a firefighter. You know, it takes a long time to be a firefighter and to go through that testing process. And one of the things that really stumble up a lot of people is when they get to that oral interview phase, you go online and you look at all the hundreds of questions that people say you have to know the right answers to. And people are really, I know they have a lot of challenges for like, where do I start? I want to give you a strategy that you can start using today that I think will really give you a great leg up on your competition. It's a way where you can really connect with your oral interview panel. Remember, you have like maybe 15 to 20 minutes at your oral interview. And then if you get a chief's interview, you have maybe that amount of time to really connect with your chief. One awesome way of doing this is by thinking of stories. Seriously. Thinking of stories about yourself. If you think about your life as like a movie, what little clips would be awesome if the chief or if the interview panel knew about you? What little clips could you talk about as little vignettes and little stories that really show the traits and characteristics that you want to bring forward as a firefighter? So for me, I'll give you an example. For me, a couple years ago, I decided to be really cool to learn how to fly small planes. So I decided I would do that. And I went through the process of, going through the written examination, and then you take an FAA written examination, and then you learn to fly, basically. And you actually can fly before you take the written examination, but that's kind of how I decided to do it. So this is a story that I would tell to the interview panel if I wanted to show them, certain qualities about me. So I'll share this with you, and I think it's pretty funny, and that's also something that I think is a good thing to convey to the interview panel. I was in the process of learning to fly, and about halfway through, the organization that I belong to, it's a .org, they require you to kind of take a halfway test before you actually sit for your FAA flying exam. So I'd learned all my maneuvers that you have to do, and I'm really nervous to take this kind of halfway test. And we go up, and it's a really, really windy day. And I'm with this guy. He's actually married to my regular flight instructor. But, I don't know him really well and stuff, and so I'm kind of nervous. And part of the maneuvers that you learn to do when you fly is you do forced stalls, which basically you put your nose up into the air, and it's kind of like a ride at the fair. You fall, or you put your nose. Anyway, I get airsick. And another thing you do is you spin the plane in both directions, 360 degrees. Okay, so you getting the point? We're doing all these practices, and I'm showing them how to do all this stuff, and I'm not feeling really great. So before I could actually say anything, now remind you, like in these planes, like these are small planes. So this is a 2-seater plane. It's worse than coach, right? I mean, my shoulder is like right next to my instructor. This is a very small cockpit. Before I could even say anything, I got sick. And thankfully, the only good part about that was that I was really nervous before my test, so I had a completely empty stomach. So nothing really happened, but just this like super embarrassing, anyway, you get the point. So most people, or a lot of people, might have been like, okay, the flying thing, not so much for me, right? I clearly have this air sickness thing I got to figure out. Well, I still haven't figured out the air sickness thing, but I haven't puked. I finished my certification. I got my FAA license to fly, and I didn't actually vomit in my real FAA exam, which was, it was a huge plus. So I would share that story. First, I think it's pretty funny. But I also think that it shows people a little bit about me. It shows that, I'm hardworking. I have some humility because, who could continue on after vomiting inside of a small plane? Hey, probably not very many people. I have a certain stigma with that. It's awesome. It shows that I'm a hard worker. I'm persevering, right? I want to continue. Setbacks are just setbacks. They're not roadblocks, they're hurdles. So it shows a lot about my character, and I think those exact same things are what can make me successful as a firefighter and do make me successful as a firefighter. As an officer in the fire service, they make me successful. So think of little stories. It's a way for you to really be able to connect with the oral interview panel. You have such a small window to do it. A great strategy is just sit down today, get out a piece of paper, and think of 3 to 5 little stories about your life. Little stories, and you can condense them down to 1, 2, 3-minute stories that will really be able to express you, your uniqueness, and your kind of cool factor, your fun factor to the interview panel. I hope that strategy helps you, and I hope that allows you to really do a great oral interview. Good luck.